Hi there, Steve Whitty here. Time for another video. As promised in my last video, it's the December's finds part 2. So in a way, I'm wrapping up 2023. So yeah, before I start showing, I want to thank everyone who has been watching and subscribing to the channel. It is appreciated. I think, especially the vinyl tag, I think the first time I'd had a video that had over 1,000 views, I'm quite chuffed with that. And, getting new subscribers. So, 2024 started off really positive, and it gives me the motivation to carry on doing videos. So thank you once again. So without further ado, let's show the last bit of December's finds. So we'll start off with a few in the £2 bins. This is Miles Davis. This is Quiet Nights, arranged and conducted by Gil Evans. Sorry. £2. You can see the tape on the cover there. You see the sellotape that was on the cover there. Apparently in the UK it was all the trend to protect your sleeves with sellotape. Unfortunately, the glue drops, it hot dries and the glue drops off and leaves a residue. This copy used to belong to Staffordshire Libraries, and despite all this, it does play actually quite well. I've got a CD of this as well, but Miles Davis at a couple of quid I couldn't really say no to. So again in the £2 bins, and this actually is an upgrade on a copy where the sleeve was quite bad. This is Manfred Mann's Earthband, The Roaring Silence. This is the album that came out in '76, and probably the best known track off here is Blinded by the Light. Sorry, Springsteen song which reached #1 for it in the US, and was a hit single in the UK as well. Albums weren't a big seller for Manfred Mann's Earthband in the UK. They relied on the odd single. I think Davy's on the Road Again was another single. Joy Bringer was another hit single for him as well. I think this is the album that first marks the debut of Chris Thompson on vocals, and he's obviously doing the vocals on Blinded by the Light. It's not a bad album, Manfred Mann's Earthband, one of those bands that you're aware of and it's just slowly building up. There's some corking albums I need to get hold of by then. Now we're going to move into a little bit of a prog phase here. First up, Audience, and this is their second album, Friends. And Audience were, as I say, prog band formed late 60s. Like quite a few of the prog bands, there was a lack of guitar. And this is a copy of the album. This album came out on Charisma, so it's an original Charisma purple label there. Really good album actually. Can't really tell you much about Audience. I've been trying to read up on them, but this is really good album. Now Pete at the shop noted I'd brought that, and it was partly on his recommendation. And he second-hand record store buys collections, and he had a big collection, and in the collection was the debut Audience album, which came out on Polydor, and I think this came out 68 or 69. And they're normally quite valuable, but unfortunately this copy has seen better days. It plays. It's just a little thing on the first track which I could get by with. 69, there you go, on Polydor, which you've all seen a Polydor. But because he couldn't sell it, he gave it me, which I'm always grateful. People looks after me. He's a top guy. I mean, I've looked after his shop as well while he's been away. But sorry, the glare there. So this is the Audience debut album. Again, an album I found which I hadn't. It's the one album by King Crimson I hadn't got from the early phase up to Red. And get this right, In the Wake of Poseidon, the second album. Greg Lake features on here. very much in the vein of Crimson King. Cat Food, which they appeared on Top of the Pops performing, is on here as well. I'm really pleased made up. This is in the US. This is US pressing on Atlantic. So really pleased, because normally originals are quite expensive for those. Again, more prog. This was not in the cheap bins, but this is, again, it's another copy that's seen better days. This is In Hearing of Atomic Rooster. I think this is their third album on Pegasus, released on Pegasus. Yeah, I couldn't say no, to some cheap Atomic Rooster. So yeah, pleased with that. Then next up, Quicksilver Messenger Service, their Davies album, the self-titled album, released in 1968. This really is good. The playing of John Cipollina is just, his guitar's just phenomenal on this. I wasn't really totally well with where the name, and I have never listened to Happy Trails, so maybe that's something I need to rectify over the coming months. And then Caravan, this is their album Better by Far, released 77. This is on it's on through Arista, but it's what's called a BTM production, BTM Records, Britain's top management, which was Miles Copeland's label, and I think he might have been manager at that time. Yeah, this again, it's Caravan. It's good. It was pretty point me in the direction of that. Something totally different, something I'd never heard of before. There's a band called Charlie, and I could best describe it. Sort of like soft AOR rock, I think. Features on drums Steve Gadd, not that Steve Gadd. Good to funk it, two drummers called Steve Gadd. Yeah, it's all right. You know, it was something different. The cover sort of drew me, and I looked at the back and thought, oh, it might be a bit rocky. And yeah, it's not too bad. John Anderson's on here as well. He plays bass, but he's got an H in his name. And yeah, Terry Thomas is on guitar. No, not that Terry Thomas either. Yeah, how good. I enjoyed it. You know, whether it stays in the collection over time, I don't know. But it was enjoyable listen. Something a little different. This is Denise Williams, and this is their This Is Nisi album. Came out in 76. It's got, the reason I picked this up because it's got the single Free, which I think might have been a #1 hit single for her in the UK. It's also got, well, That's What Friends Are For as well. I think another hit single for her. Sort of on and off, but success with Denise Williams. She had that duet with Johnny Mathis, Too Little Too Late, and then she featured Let's Hear It For The Boy on I think it's Flashdance. No, it's not Flashdance. No, it's I've forgotten the film. It's not that important. Footloose, that's the one. Footloose. There we go. Great British Rhythm and Blues, Barrelhouse and Boogie Bonanza. Yeah, this came out 1982 on Decca. Features sort of like the bands that were in the blues boom at that time. Graham Bond Organisation, Alexis Corner, Blues Incorporated, Ronnie Jones and the Night Timers, John Mayall's Blues Bakers, Champion Jack Dupree, Eddie Boyd's Blues Band, 10 Years After's on here with I'm Coming Home, and the Savoy Blues Band as well. So yeah, good little off comp there. And promo as well, which was quite surprising to find. Not like a white label like they are in the States. Just I can feel my throat drying up a bit. Just excuse me. Just got back in from work. I mentioned this in my vinyl tag video. This is Ian Hunter's Overnight Angels. This was released in 1977. This, I believe, is his third solo album. Sort of produced by Roy Thomas Baker. the record company was sort of disappointed with the sort of perceived lack of success of All American Alien Boy, and it sounded a little soft, so they wanted to rock it up, and it does work on this. Some really good stuff. Earl Slick plays guitar on this, as well as Curly Smith. Dennis Elliott, he would be the drummer, become the drummer of Foreigner, and also but Mick Ronson don't appear on this, I think. It's a good album. I like Ian Hunter. I think he's a national treasure. He's someone we should, especially now in his 84th year. He's born the same year as my dad. That is something I just can't get over. Now, obviously, when Ian Hunter left Mott the Hoople, the band carried on under the name Mott, and this is their first album. Nigel Benjamin, who was relatively unknown, had the unenviable task of replacing Hunter on vocals, and they also brought Roy Major in on guitar, who's replaced Mick Ronson. This isn't a bad album, and you can see Nigel Benjamin doing his best Ian Hunter impression on here, and rest of the band took over. This is sort of produced by, let's say it's produced by Mott, but that's basically Dale Griffin and Morgan Fisher that co-produced the album. But Overend Watts took over the songwriting, so the majority of the songs on here are Overend Watts songs. There's the band there. And then they followed it up with Shouting and Pointing. And this would be the second and final album. There's a shouting side A, and a pointing side B. Same lineup, but it wasn't Mott the Hoople, it wasn't Ian Hunter, and I think sales reflected it and gigs reflected it. And not long after the album came out, Nigel Benjamin left the band. I think John Fiddler from Medicine Head came in, and they changed the band's name to British Lions, whose album I've got out the back there, which would be a bit of a sad end to career. Now, this has got a history, because this record was won on the 2nd of October 1976 at the Brunel Grand Union Bar by whoever could kiss the longest. Ugh. Oh well. The final album I'm going to show you is the self-titled Mungo Jerry album, called Baby Let's Play House. Sorry, it's called Mungo Jerry. I'm just reading out one of the tracks there. And you might notice there's a bit a 3D tinge to it. There you go. And and it came with 3D glasses, which I still have. Amazing. In America, this album came out. It had in the summertime. It doesn't feature in the UK copy, but it's very much sort of like in that vein, that sort of rock vein, stomping rate. There's almost element folk in there. Jug band, very unusual. Mungo Jerry was phenomenally successful in the early 70s in the UK. There you go, VC. Hope you liked what I showed you. Bit rambling, I suspect, but hope you enjoyed it. If you did, the thumbs up, thumbs down. Love the interaction. Give the video a like as well. I keep forgetting to mention that, because that's normally a good way of helping people. So I'm going to leave it there. It's cold outside, but I suspect not as cold as it is in the other side of the pond. So stay warm, whatever you do. Keep spinning. More importantly, keep on smiling.